G'day everyone, and welcome to the 7th episode of Agony Anth, my collaboration with the Charles Darwin University Law Student Society. This week's question comes from a student who wants to complete their law degree, but they have no intention of practicing law. They've asked, how do I use my law degree to get work in other fields? Well, first things first, you are most definitely not alone. Statistics vary, but it seems quite clear that a large proportion of the students who study law never go on to actually practice. People with law degrees pop up all over society in dozens of different roles, making contributions in many different aspects of our community. If you've decided that the practice of law is not for you, or if you have some other powerful ambition that's driving you along, you're absolutely not wasting your time by completing your degree. Let's think about how we can really get your education working for you. The first thing to think about is what your degree actually says about you. Imagine yourself in the position of an employer on a recruitment committee. When they see you with a law degree, what conclusions should they form? Because those are the things that you should be pushing in your application. First up, persistence. I've often said that every degree is really a bachelor of persistence. Lots and lots and lots of people start university degrees and don't finish them. I'm not saying that to criticise either. The reasons people don't finish are as varied as the people themselves. But those who do come out the other end of the pipeline, those who do manage to get through to graduation day, have shown the ability to stick at a task. I mean, you think about it. 24 subjects for a degree. Let's assume 12-week terms, 2 hours of class a week, 10 cases a week, an assignment and an exam. By the end, you've done 288 hours of classes, 2,880 cases and at least 50 assessment items. And you've passed them. You've shown up week after week, even when you'd really have preferred not to. Those are employable qualities. Second, your degree has taught you logical and structured ways of thinking. You know how to break down a problem into its elements. You know how to think about what rules or constraints apply in relation to each element. You know how to put all of that together to produce a recommendation. In legal education, problem questions teach problem solving. Problem solving is always going to be at the heart of every single professional role you ever take. Third, your degree has taught you about communication. You've been taught to write effectively, or at least you've shown that you can write effectively. You've been taught to be an advocate, both orally and in writing. If you've done well in your degree, then along the way you will have learned to express yourself clearly and precisely and as simply as possible. You'll have learned to argue with other people without resorting to emotions and personal attacks, and you've been taught to see both sides of an argument instead of taking a blinkered approach where you can really only see your own personal perspective. So you don't have a Bachelor of Laws. You have a Bachelor of Persistence, a Bachelor of Problem Solving, and a Bachelor of Communication. Those are things that you can present to any prospective employer. Next, think about the field that you do intend to go into. Presumably, in order to decide that this is the field for you, you've taken a few steps to learn about it. Look at the regulatory environment for your new field. If your new field is going to be logistics, look at the laws around transporting and storing goods and the laws around buying and leasing warehouse space. If your field is going to be human resources, get to know the Fair Work Act. If you're going into agribusiness, learn about the relevant land use laws and export laws. No matter what your future field is, you can just about bet there are going to be a heap of laws and regulations that affect how that field operates. For most people, without an education in the law, even finding those regulations online is going to be excruciatingly difficult. And then when they read those laws online, well, to a layperson, they often make no sense at all. When you walk in the workplace door with the ability to understand those regulations and use them to shape your new employer's activities and to make certain those activities are conducted lawfully, you'll be worth your weight in gold. So, how do you make it happen? Well, first, you need to understand your target industry. You'll need to know as much as you can about the various companies, suppliers, competitors, regulators, clients, and customers. Everything that you can possibly learn will be helpful. That information will help you to identify opportunities. Second, as I said a few episodes ago, for those looking for work in the legal industry, you shouldn't be waiting until graduation. Once you know about your industry, find ways to get involved. Get involved in an industry association if you can. Look for interning and volunteering opportunities. Join social media groups active in your area of interest. The more that you can identify networks in your target industry and embed yourself in those networks, the more effective you'll be at finding work. Last but not least, many of you will be doing double degrees, and it goes without saying that your other degree should be in your target industry. But if you're not doing a double degree, negotiate with your university to see whether you can swap out any of your law electives for electives in other schools which focus on your areas of interest. If that's not possible, look for a good, snappy graduate certificate or graduate diploma relevant to your target industry. If you don't manage to snap up work immediately after graduating with your Bachelor of Laws, it won't take terribly long for you to add a second, more focused qualification. That puts you in a very strong job seeking position. One final word on this topic. Remember that even though you may have a Bachelor of Laws, if you haven't been admitted and you don't hold a practicing certificate, you can't practice law. You can take your law degree and your knowledge of the law into 1,000 different workplaces in 100 different roles, but you must be very clear about the fact that you are not practicing as a lawyer and you cannot give legal advice. People with law degrees do amazing things throughout our society. Your degree is your first step along a unique pathway. You'll need to keep learning and you'll need to keep working hard, but there's no reason at all that your version of success can't come true. I'll see you again soon.